WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, says he's rooting for Andy Ruiz and he thinks he beats Joshua again, and he explains why. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Shout out to CashApp as well. And holla at that ESPN Plus link in the description box. I am an affiliate, so it does help the channel. Now, Deontay Wilder did an interview, link in the description, and let's jump right into the mix. He was asked about Joshua Ruiz 2, which is coming on right after, shortly after his fight with Luis Ortiz. So basically 2 heavyweight rematches the boxing world will get to see. And Deontay Wilder says that's going to be another great fight as well. Of course, me and Ruiz are with the same stable, so I'm rooting for him to do what he set out to do the first time. This is just something that he's coming back to finish the job. For me, that's what I see. Andy Ruiz, he got the momentum going for him. It's the way he beat Anthony Joshua. People don't understand. It's not only that Ruiz is a good fighter, but it was the way he beat Anthony Joshua. That's what makes me go for him. It's no other thing in my mind that points me away from Ruiz winning this rematch. Wilder went on to say, I don't care what Joshua goes into camp and corrects or whatever. Those same things are going to still be there. They're not going nowhere. I'm still undefeated, and I'm still knocking guys out. If people are asking questions about me, I'm still here. He's going to be fighting his own demons, right? He says they don't really come out with the truth talking about Joshua's team. They don't really come out with the truth on certain things. You hear about rumors about sparring, rumors about what happened in the dressing room and stuff, right? And he said all these things can be a big distraction and knock you off your game. But I wish Andy Ruiz Jr. well. And after that, we can finally get one champion, one face, and one name. It'll be easy, an easy fight to make because of the situation and the circumstances that we're both in. We're on the same label or in the same stable. I'm definitely Team Ruiz all the way. Let's go, Ruiz. Knock him out again, baby. End quote. Listen, Deontay Wilder, you can be salty, you can hate. He's the face of boxing. He's putting together these quotables and interviews, and people more and more are caring what he has to say, and what he says actually matters for his division. I'm really happy for the heavyweight division. Andy Ruiz, he really snuck in and shook things up, and I agree with Deontay Wilder 1,000%. There's a lot of different things going on in the world of boxing. First of all, Wilder fights first, so he got to get that monkey off his back. And that monkey, King Kong Ortiz, no pun intended, he's a dangerous op. Ortiz looks like he's trying to get right in camp. He's in shape. I did a video about that. There will be a card for that video in this video. So check that video out. Luis Ortiz is in incredible shape. People talked about his age and all that, but the man looks in shape, ready to go, and he's a week out. So we'll see what type of fight that is for Wilder. And I agree with him. I think Andy Ruiz is going to win. And it's funny because I told you Wilder's new media. You listen to his interviews, he's saying virtually the same exact stuff that I be saying on this new media tip. Same stuff. He says we hear all these rumors. And see, that's the thing about new media, man. It's just so infectious. You can run and you can hide, but the truth usually prevails and the truth usually comes out. And the reality is people see the same stuff when it's so flagrant and in your face as it pertains to what he's saying about Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. He's right, and this is what I've said before as well. Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, they always seem to not fully be transparent. That's why he says it it's like they don't tell the truth, so you don't know what's going on. So we all hear the same rumors and see the same reports. Oh, Joey DeVecco hurt Joshua, and then Joshua says it's physio, and then he says Vizio TV fell on his eye, and then he says he had a lion in the camp. Yeah, you're lying in the camp. You know what I'm saying? And none of the stuff that Joshua's team made, like the statements, I don't even want to rehash it because it's too much to go over. It's just too much to unpack. But the whole situation didn't make sense. Joshua walked out. He looked spooked. He looked afraid. He looked like something was wrong with him. This is no excuse. Ruiz won fair and square. Because if he was nervous to be fighting in America for the first time, if he was ill prepared, so if you're not fully prepared, I can understand being nervous. If you didn't feel like you had a solid camp and did what you were supposed to be doing, and you was partying in Miami or relaxing, and then the moment comes, then you're gonna feel a type of way because you didn't put the work in. I've had times where, let's say there's an English class I was in, and we had to read our paper that we wrote in front of the class. Now, if I took time with that essay and I took time and really, did a rough draft and spent some time correcting it, looking for spelling errors, then ultimately the public speaking becomes easier. However, if I know I was BSing and I waited till the last minute and I didn't get to check it for spelling errors and did it all the night before, then my public speech is probably not going to be as fluid, unless you just have the ability to improvise and make it up as you go. So whatever it was with Joshua that night, he looked out of sorts. He looked like the moment was too big for him. And as far as I'm concerned, Joshua's team hasn't proven to be consistent with what they say, which is what you're hearing Wilder say as well in this interview, right? They just haven't been consistent with their word. And another thing Wilder said that I told you, new media, is Joshua didn't really show you anything to root for him. It's boxing. Anything can happen. And, the people, listen, I'm a straight shooter, steak and potatoes. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say a bunch of filth, flooring and filth that I don't believe in. Yes, it's boxing, one punch, heavyweight division, all these token proverbs and things like that. But I'm not picking Joshua. And the reason is, similarly to what Wilder's saying, is Joshua, off his performance, which is the only thing I can judge is what I know about the guy and these two styles when they fought. Joshua gave me nothing to believe that he would be the better person. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's say any other fight in history that was close, that spawned sequels. Let's say Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez. You could say, oh, Marquez in the first fight, it was a draw. One judge scored their scorecard wrong, and Marquez got knocked down 3 times in the first round. But I knew the fight would be competitive for the spirit and the effort that Marquez showed after the first round. Everything I know about Marquez at a high level. So it's no mystery to me that Manny Pacquiao and Marquez is a great boxing saga, because even if it was a close fight, Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera, the first fight, they both were competitive and they both showed you a bit of something to let you know that, it'll probably be like this if they keep fighting, unless somebody just veers off of the course and gets sidetracked and, not taking boxing serious. But if both guys have this animosity, both guys show the same continued skill set, you don't wait too many years in between the fight, it looks like this is going to be another great fight. And that's what happened with that trilogy. But with Ruiz and Joshua, it's a bit different because Joshua, I think people are in love with his body and maybe some of the, Eddie Hearn gaming up the world. Simply put, he did not do anything in the fight. I gave him 0 rounds out of when was it a stoppage? 11th. You know, I gave him no rounds. So he's going to have to make some major corrections coming off the heels of that, not switching his trainer, and, you know, put it all together in one night, 4, 5, 6 months after the first fight. No breaks, no chance for recovery. I just don't like those odds. Now, again, if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong, but I'm not changing. I have not seen nothing. He's keeping the same trainer. He has the same style. Some guys just got your number, you know? So I would have to see major changes. The biggest change that I've seen from Joshua is 2 things. One, Anthony Joshua has gone quiet. Whereas the first fight with Ruiz, he was doing, I told you, I was like, man, is he underestimated Ruiz? Because he was doing these MTV crib style vlogs and that type of thing. So he was like doing vlogs like he would, you know, like he Logan Paul or something. So I'm like, what is this? He doing KSI vlogs and opened up a YouTube channel. That's weird. So he hasn't been doing that as much. So it looks like he's focused, and then he's lost weight. You know, he looks slimmer and leaner than before. And even that, I'm not sure what that really does for his game plan, because Ruiz was already faster than you, and now he's lost a little bit of weight as well. So you being as big, you're potentially putting yourself, you're not going to be, Joshua's not going to have faster hands and more fluid combination punching because he's lighter. You know what I'm saying? That's not how that works. If somebody's just faster than you, they're just faster than you. So you're not going to, in one camp in 5-6 weeks, lose some pounds and lose some muscle mass and then be faster. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. So, you know, I don't even really understand or know if Joshua's team knows what they're doing, you know, and I'm trying to say this in the most respectful way. I'm not saying like I know everything, but what I mean by know what they're doing is, do they know what they are doing and why they're doing it? Do you get what I'm saying? And I'll probably talk about this in another video because I don't want to trail off, but sometimes people do things like certain daily procedures at work or whatnot, and they don't really fully understand what this is. Like, I remember at Lowe's as a manager, we had this process to shut down the computers and stuff. It's called end of day. And it's just a, you know, certain process. You have to put this tape in and blah, blah, blah. But we had a newer manager, and they, you know, would do the process, but they didn't know what it was doing. Sometimes that's important, at least to me, you know, the type of learner I am, to know not only what you're doing it, but why you're doing it. And I feel that with Joshua. Like, I feel like sometimes him and his team, they make decisions, and it's like, why are you doing this? You know, like, obviously you want to beat Ruiz, but why are you switching that? Like, why is Joshua losing weight? What is it like in looking skinny, you know, compared to what he was? And you know, you could do the reverse. You were fighting Ruiz the first time, and Joshua was posting muscle-bound pictures flexing, and his caption said, I fear no man. I'm not afraid of no man. So the first time, it looked like he was bulked up and, like, you know, he's flexing. He looked kind of huge. And then now you're trying to get super skinny, you know, like not even in the middle. This is like the smallest that I've probably seen Joshua. So again, I don't really understand or know if they understand why they're doing certain processes. Like, okay, you bulked up. You knew Ruiz was the opponent 5-6 weeks before, and you weren't trying to lose weight. But then now he beat you, and now you're trying to lose a bunch of weight. I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand that. So, you know, back to the Wilder interview. I feel Deontay Wilder, a lot of what he was saying here. And one thing that he touched on that I really like was, if he's rooting for Andy Ruiz, he said, man, we can finally get to it. And I felt that so much, because if Wilder gets past Luis Ortiz, I don't know what's up with Fury. Sounds like there's a contract, but, you know, Fury's ultimately hard to read as well and inconsistent. But if Ruiz wins and Wilder wins, I like the opportunities that presents. Because even if Eddie Hearns tries to get him stripped, or Bob Arum, like for Kubrat Pulev or Usyk or something like that, you know, it's still a big fight, even without undisputed. It would be a shame if they can't fight for undisputed if Wilder wins and Ruiz wins. But either way, it's still the biggest fight in boxing, you know, with or without belts. And this is probably why the PBC is coming out with all the belts, because you have little BS like this where people have a better relationship, or, you know, they're on good terms with the certain sanctioning body, and the sanctioning bodies will accept money or whatever to make decisions that push us farther from one face, one name, one champion in undisputed scenarios. If Ruiz wins and Wilder wins and they want to fight and anyone gets in the way, you have to question how, if they're in it for boxing, the growth, how do they want the best for boxing if you're trying to intervene and get in the way of a heavyweight undisputed, which hasn't been done since Lennox Lewis, which was before some of you guys were probably even born, you know? So I felt Wilder with that, you know, I really did, because if he's rooting for Ruiz, they've talked, they were on Fox together, like they had a segment for one of the fights, and he knows that his dreams can come true and realities, and it'll be just so much easier to work with because of Ruiz is about that life. He's already entertained the idea of a Wilder fight, you know, Wilder's game, and he don't have to deal with everything he dealt with last year, dealing with Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. So ultimately, man, if Joshua loses again here, then Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn are going to be viewed as almost like laughing stocks of boxing, you know, just because they had a fight of this magnitude, Wilder, Joshua, everything that could have been when they were both undefeated, and they let it get out of grips. And then now I assure you, if Joshua loses by knockout again, he's going to be viewed, you know, it's going to put him several steps back, and he'll probably be viewed as like not much different than, you know, any other UK heavyweights that have lost, like David Price. And, you know, it would regard him to the level of like a Dillian White, you know, David Price. You know, he's not going to be held in the same regard, you know, and that's a shame. If he don't win, it's going to be a shame for them, because they had the boxing world in their fingertips, and pure greed and trying to manipulate the board and lowball people. Karma, you know, it's straight up karma. But I like Wilder's recent interviews. You can tell he's getting more proficient with his interview style, and he looks more comfortable. He's a lot more distinguishable. You know, when he first came out, like, he didn't look like his thoughts seemed a bit more jumbled up when he would do interviews, but now he's like getting to the money and to the sweet spots, and, you know, just finessing and blessing the mic. So check out the interview. Let me know what you guys think. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.